Today is January 13th, 2021. Welcome to my reading of positivity. I am moving through my day with a deep feeling of gratitude. In this moment, I am grateful for everything. I am calm. I am talented. I am creative. I am tenacious. I am successful. I am creating each moment that is unfolding in front of me. Each thought that I am thinking is creating my future. I am following my instincts. I am listening to my intuition. I am an intelligent, beautiful, and kind soul, and I am comfortable in this skin. I am aware. I am opening my soul to the universe and accepting all of the positive possibilities that are being offered to me. I am selective. I am selective in who I share my light. I am relaxed. I am expanding my perspective. I am adding worth, value, and kindness. I am taking this minute to stop, to breathe, to appreciate the beauty that is presented to me as I am life. I am inhaling positivity and I am exhaling negativity. As in this moment, I am new. walking on butterfly wings, as I am aware that with each interaction I am leaving energy behind, and I am choosing to leave enlightenment in my wake. For those who choose to sing, I am aware of my imperfections, as they are the beauty that I am. So I am embracing my imperfections, because they are the beauty that I am. I am fully embracing who I am. Every aspect of my soul, my spirit, and this vessel are a part of me, and I truly accept it all. I am acceptance. I am releasing the anger and the fear. They are not a part of who I am any longer. They no longer serve a purpose. No, that's not true. That's not true. I am using anger and fear to my benefit, to drive me further into the light, as I know my soul and my spirit are color, light, and joy. I am on my ultimate life path. Breathe. I am moving forward in confident positivity. I am one with nature. I am whole. I am complete. I am confidence. I am growth. I am change. I am allowing myself to feel sorrow for others without judgment. I am open-minded. I am compassionate. I am strength. Breathe. Inhale positivity. exhale negativity. I am creating a space where my family will nurture and grow as we are amazing. We are amazing souls who have been put on this earth to live this amazing life. All of us, not just some of us, all of us. Each of us deserves respect. We each deserve kindness, and we each deserve love. No one is less. I am an amazing soul, and I have been gifted this amazing life. I am the change. I am gratitude. I am kindness. I am holding myself tall, core strong, shoulders relaxed, head high, and mind's eye open. I hold my hands to my heart and feel the warmth and the life force that generate through me. I am radiating positivity, gratitude, and kindness into the universe. I am truly grateful for everything in this moment, but I am especially grateful for you, beautiful soul. Thank you for joining me on this crazy ass journey. Because this darkness and light thing, I'll tell you, man, you know what, embracing both sides of me, or all sides of me, all parts of me, Jesus, right? It's insane. I have been running from and hiding from and, not wanting to be that because I don't like, let me rephrase that, saying, I don't really, I wish I reacted different at times, right? I don't, like, but I'm not going to, say I don't like that part of me anymore, because I need to love myself wholly, right, and completely. So I need to love Elm when she is throwing a tantrum, because there's a reason that that's happening, right? There are parts of me, I was severely abused throughout my life, right? And I again, no, I'm not alone. I am not feeling sorry for myself. I know that there are so many of us out there, if not all of us. So, we've all been abused in one form or another, right? But I've been running from the parts of me that survived that, right? Elm was the person that survived all of that. And so for me to not love her when she gets pissed off is kind of not loving the darkness that was part of me who I am now, right? And I can't turn that part of me away and love the rest of me. I have to love me wholly. So I wish others could understand and be more empathetic, but they're not. And that I can't, again, judge them for that, because I don't know really what they feel in their hearts, right? I know what people do for survival, and maybe they're in survival mode. I don't know. So, and that's what I suspect. When you see those situations, people are in survival mode. And so people are different in survival mode. I have always been super empathetic, but I've also, Like I realized yesterday some of the stuff that I did when I was a meth head, right, was not cool or on the up and up. So I'm not saying I've always been the person who, that's not true. I've always been super empathetic. I mean, I knew, when I did those things, I never got away with it unharmed. It probably hurt me more than the people that I did them to, just because that's the kind of person I am, right? I feel deeply. Like one of my bosses said to me that I 150% internalized everything, and that was the problem. She might have been right about me internalizing things to a larger level than other people, but that wasn't the problem, right? The problem was that I was given a job to do without the tools to do it, and I couldn't do that job to the best of my ability, and that made me angry, and then Elm came out. That's what happened, right? And Elm was pissed off and would have kicked shit if she could have, but I was in control enough not to do that, right? Well, kicking a desk or two would have probably felt good, right? Well, she's the one that went to the ocean and stomped her feet so bad that freaking toes hurt for days, right? But I don't know. I think more people need to be in touch with the different pieces of them, and it's not, I just feel like it would help us all maybe understand each other a little bit more if we tried to. Like my son told me today, we were talking about it, because I was saying, mental illness is such a scary word. And he said not for his generation, which is why I got on saying I'm really disappointed in my generation, because he's right. For us, it was taboo to talk about that stuff, it just didn't get addressed. I mean, when things happened, it was like, shh, that didn't happen, right? We didn't really witness that. You just pretend like that didn't happen when they did happen. Sorry. Actually, those things did happen and continue to happen. I mean, the Me Too movement came out and it's made a bit of a difference. And Jeffrey Epstein, got called out on the carpet, but he committed suicide. And so all the big wigs that were going to his island are still out there, and it starts from the top and rolls down, right? So we all suffered that, I think, back in that time. Some of us not to the same extent as others, but we all suffered that, right? And so we're all so messed up, and now we're just trampling all over our future generations and not even seeing it, and it's really sad to me. So again, I'm trying to put positivity out there. I'm keeping my head above water with it. um, I mean, look at the first time in my life. I don't know if you can really see those, but man, I am like the first time in my life, right? I got some muscle going on, and I'm like almost 60. I'm 57. I gotta just do abs. I need to do sit-ups. I don't really like them, so I try to keep my core strong and do those kinds of exercises. But so these are really helping me. I hope they help someone else. I just want to try to make a difference so that my son has something to look forward to. It's hard for me to tell him to keep his head up and keep going, that there's something to look forward to sometimes. And that makes me sad. But I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to keep doing these, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And I'm going to get out there on that ocean before I am gone from this earth, because that is who I am. I keep my word, and I do what I say I'm going to do. I always have. Told my son I was going to take him to Japan. I took him to Japan. Told my son I was going to take him to Disneyland. And this is as a single mom by myself working 2 jobs. Told my son I was going to take him to Disneyland. Took him to Disneyland. Actually, my mom paid for the hotel room and the tickets on that trip. Told him I was going to take him on a cruise to Mexico. Took him on a cruise to Mexico. 16, going on 17, said I was going to take myself to Europe. I took myself to Europe. Said I was going to graduate college in my 40s, working 2 jobs, raising a child by myself. Did that. Said I was going to buy a house. Did that. Said I was going to move from Montana to somewhere else. Did that. Right? I follow through. It would be nice if there was more people like that. And follow through with things I say I'm going to do for people, unless there's no possible way for me to do it. I follow through. And if I don't, and I can possibly think about it, I make sure that they know why, right? Like I don't intentionally tell someone something and then when it doesn't happen, just pretend like I never said I was going to do it, right? That's not who I am. Thank God. I might have been that person at one time, but again, I have grown, right? That is not who I am anymore if I ever was. Um, and so I can't be around those kinds of people. I don't know what made me think I could. I mean, I know that's going to trigger me. So that was stupid. Dumbass. Anyway, I don't know, man. I have been alone all of my life. So here I am talking to an empty fucking computer screen saying positive words. I got 59 subscribers, which is awesome. I hope some of you are actually like maybe getting something from me. I don't know. Yesterday, I have to go pee because I'm a woman and I go pee a lot, but well, because I've had a kid. But anyway, some people might think that's vulgar, unprofessional, or have a hard time with that. So if so, I'm sorry, this isn't the channel for you. I'll be right back because I gotta pee. Shit, I have my sound turned down. Sorry. That's okay. I'll be back. There's nobody out there. It's cool though. I'll be back. I'm gonna talk some more. I'm gonna talk some more about my old jobs. And I gotta get some artwork done but I'm gonna talk for a little while longer. Because even though this is insane, it makes me feel a little less alone. So yeah, and it's better than watching the news or I don't know. I got the sneezes. I'll be back in a sec. All right. Oh yeah, I'm getting the jacket. What, you guys? Dude, it's because I'm like laughing. I was all thinking the universe will. All right. So I bought this shawl and I took it to that job and now I need to smudge it, I think. No. Well, yeah. There was some negative energy there. But that's done. So let's see. I started working at Silver Bay Logging. I think I already was talking about like I'd gotten married to my husband who I did not love at all. And his family was really a bigot. He ended up breaking his brother's jaw because his jaw said I dressed like a slut or something, which, whatever. Um, but I was working at Silver Bay Logging, and I actually really liked that job. I worked in the bunkhouse, and like I did dishes, and what I did was I would get up, go early in the morning, and then you get everything ready for the guys for their breakfast, and then so that they can put together their sack lunches to take out into the field to work, and then you clean all of that up, and then I I didn't clean their rooms. Someone else did that. I just cleaned like the area where they ate and stuff like that. And then I would go home and then come back and do it again at night. And I think I did that like, I think what we worked was like 3 days on, 4 days off or something like that. But I remember the owner of Silver Bay Logging was telling me that I should be home making babies, not working. Yeah, I remember that. So that was kind of crazy. And I was actually, I did get really thin at that point. I was really bulimic though, bad. Like I was every day I would go and buy like all the well actually, I don't even know. I think I was just yeah, I would go to either we had it at home. I think I kept the stuff hidden from my husband. So I would just go get a bunch of candy from the store in the in the bunkhouse store and I would go home and just eat it and then yeah, it was bad. But I was exercising a lot too and I was kind of taking care of myself, but then my sister kind of yeah, every time I went to town I would just get trashed. My husband and I got in a lot of fights when I was drinking because I didn't like him. I shouldn't have been married to him. It was kind of stupid. I felt like I was 27 years old and nobody was going to love me, so I just went ahead and married him. That was bad. That was dumb. That was bad for him too, obviously. Um, but we, my sister at that time when I was living there, we were living on the Fognac Island and it was an unpopulated logging camp outside of Kodiak Island. It was really kind of cool, except for he bought me a gun and tried to teach me how to shoot it. And I remember it kicked back and freaking cut the top of my head. So I was really afraid of it. But because of where we lived, there were a bunch of bear on the island, and so you needed to have a weapon if you went hiking, which I went hiking all the time. But I usually took, like, I would go with a couple of other girls who were hunters. I was not, right? I was a city girl who ended up there, but it was kind of cool. We had a really nice place. We had a really nice bathtub, so I could take hot baths. I haven't been able to have a bath in over 2 years. It sucks. My bathtub here sucks, so I can't take baths. But but it was a nice place. But my sister called, and she was in some kind of trouble, and asked me if I would take care of her son. and he was 4 at the time. And I feel so bad for this. I should, one of these days, I will reach out to him because I went into town to pick him up. I told her yes, we would take him. And so we bought him a plane ticket to Alaska. And I went into town to pick him up. And I left him in the hotel room by himself and went down to the bar. And I was only down there for a good maybe 10 minutes, and he called me and said he was scared, and I went back upstairs. But I should have never done that to begin with, right? And I do feel bad for that. I should have not done that, right? I did some things in my life with my child I should not have done because of alcohol. I gratefully stopped, and before too long with Rylan. I mean, I quit drinking when he was 7, but I drove with him sometimes. Holy shit, I drove from this isn't even funny. I drove from Helena, Montana to Butte, Montana so drunk that on the side of the road, you know, the bumps when you get over to the side of the road and you got those bumps, I drove all the way on those bumps to keep myself straight. Yeah. Yeah. I think was it Butte or Billings? It was probably only a couple hours. So whichever one is just a couple hours away. Oh no, it wasn't Butte because Butte is up over the hill. So it was either Billings or Bozeman. I think it was Billings. One of them that's just a couple hours away, but even just a couple hours. I was so trashed that I drove my child, right? And so I know what people go through, right? I'm so glad I pulled myself out of that shit. Anyway, back to Silver Bay logging. Sorry, I got lost for a second there with my nephew who was 4 that I left in the hotel room. I remember he had to get a tooth pulled and he was crying and I was crying and the dentist made me leave the office. It was horrible. But anyway, so what my husband did was he walked off his job. I guess he probably didn't. I didn't love him. He didn't love me, my sister's child. I mean, it was a thing. But he walked off his job, so we all had to come back to the lower 48. We ended up in Washington, I think it was, with a friend of his. And he bought me this old pickup truck it was like a big, God, were they Scouts or something? It was a big, big old pickup truck. I love that thing. But anyway, and so I drove my nephew and myself from Washington to Pocatello, Idaho, where my aunt lived. And we stayed with her and then my sister came and took her son back with the sheriff. It was all just so stupid. He didn't want to go back with her, and she came and took him back, and it was dumb, you know? It was dumb. But anyway, so that happened. And then I started working. So I was in Pocatello, Idaho. I don't know where I started working right away. I know I started bartending, doing a lot of meth and bartending. And I was working at an Oliver's restaurant. Where else was I working when I was there? I know I bartended at a place where it was a railroad bar. But I can't remember. I think that was it. Just bartending and then working as a waitress at Oliver's restaurant, as far as I remember. And then I met this guy. I moved in with one guy and I got drunk and freaking cheated on him, which that was bad of me. And so we ended up splitting up. And then I was going to move back to California to live with my mom, but I decided I didn't want to do that at the last minute. And I stayed in Pocatello. I got an apartment of my own, and I was working at Oliver's, but I was an alcoholic. I still drank all the time, right? And then I met this guy, Robert Sino, in the bar. We moved in really quickly. I moved in with him probably within a week or two. Because he saw me he wanted to get out of Pocatello, and he saw me as money, because I've always been a worker, so he knew he could use me if he could convince me to leave with him, which he did, because I've always, I was a lost soul just looking for someone to care, right, always. And so we ended up moving to Helena, Montana. Um, and got my first job in Helena was at, where was my first job? Wait a minute. So much stuff happened. I totally skipped a bunch of stuff right there. Did I? Oh, I just skipped. No, I didn't. Okay. So we ended up we ended up in Helena, Montana. Let me think. And I started working at a restaurant. I remember he got mad at me one day. He was bitching at me because I didn't have a job, so I went out and got a job that day and started that night at a restaurant called, boy, I can't remember. And it was another one of those places where I just got tossed in right away. You know, I had experience, so they threw me in. All my jobs have pretty much done that, just thrown me in, dropped me in. I think they do that everywhere. I don't, again, don't think I'm special. I don't think any of these places are unique. I think that's why right now people are saying, we fuck you. We don't want to work for you people. You expect way too much for what you're going to pay us. And you go live high on the hog off of my sweat, you know? And I think people are tired of it. But anyway, so I started working at that restaurant, and then I ended up at the Overland Express. And it's funny because the Overland Express, when Robert and I were deciding to move to Helena, Montana, we would go into the Overland Express and we would drink and eat nachos. And I told him, I said, I'm going to work in this place. So I did. That's another thing. You know what I mean? I say what I'm going to, yeah. Anyway, so I worked there for a long time, and that was a trip. There was some stuff with the Overland Express. I mean, my boss there, he was something else. Troy Schneider used to kick my feet out from under me when I was carrying football trays full of food. Thought that was funny. His wife threw a roll at me once because we got so busy and she was pissed. I mean, it's just, I would go in that place and start drinking. Jesus, I got trashed. Holy shit. At that time, I was drinking Rumble Mints. I remember sometimes I would be sitting out in my car drinking that shit and I couldn't feel my arm. And I would just wait until it passed. And then I would take another shot and go in and go to work. I mean, it was pretty crazy. And I worked there off and on for years. They would let me go and hire me back and tell me I needed to leave, and I would get mad and quit. I remember I threw a drink on one. This guy called me a bitch, so I said, "Bitch, you want to see bitch?" And I threw a drink in his face. He was one of the big guys in town. I think it was Dick Anderson. He owned Dick Anderson Construction. He really pissed me off. He was, you know, they came in and thought that they were so superior, right? And it just gets me. I have dealt with you people all my life. I mean, AOC, she's got it. She knows. She's dealt with these kinds of people, right? She knows who you people are. She's got your frickin' number. I don't have it in me to go into politics. There's too much nasty shit about me that could come out that I don't want to survive, right? Um, I mean, I was searching for a long time for something in some pretty dark and bad places, right? So I did some stuff that I wouldn't necessarily, I don't want to say I'm not being like being not proud of it isn't it. I am proud I did what I needed to do to survive. I am proud that I pulled myself up from those places. I am proud that I can say I've actually gone through some shit and seen some shit and have it be the truth, right? Like I don't bullshit anybody. I feel like it's so funny at this last job, there was someone talking to me like trying I feel. Now I might be wrong and this might be kind of judgy, but I really feel like they were just trying to connect with me. So they were like trying to empathize with me in such a way that I really read as bullshit, right? Because yeah, so, but that doesn't matter. For me, it's real. I actually did go through this shit, you know? And so again, whether or not I'm proud of the things that I did in my past isn't a factor. The factor of it is that I did what I needed to do to survive. I wasn't taught a lot as a child, any kind of really survival skills. So I did what I knew, right? I love my mother, but I don't like my mother. And that's hard for me to say because she's still living on this earth. And I care about her feelings and I would never want to hurt her, but I do not. I was good with her until the last time she showed up at my house so trashed. She fell out of the car at 3 o'clock in the morning. I worked so hard to bring my son and I from Montana to Oregon, and she showed up at my house so trashed that I don't even think she could tell you what my house looked like, right? Like I was afraid she could. She fell out of fucking bed. I mean, it just, you know, I, and I want to be forgiveness, right? And I don't want to judge for that, but I don't have to like that, right? Like, I don't know. Where was I at? I was Silver Bay logging. I was working at the Overland Express. Oh my God, what a dive bar. Or not a dive bar, but what a place that was. It was funny because the bar, I worked during the lunchtime, and the bar had how many tables? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11, I think 13 tables, and bar seats. And Bob, the host, used to think it was funny to fill up my section all at once. That was my section, the bar, for lunch. He thought it was funny to fill it up. Oh my God, I would get so busy, right? I remember just standing there with my back, like standing at the register trying to put in the orders. Like I would have a pad just full of orders and I would be standing there putting them into the computer and just like not being able to breathe because I knew the whole room behind me was full of people that I had to serve in an hour. Which I did multiple times. But I mean, that's the thing. That's how I've been, that's the same thing like they just did to me at this other job. We don't expect you to do it all. We don't expect you to do it all at once. We don't expect you to be three people. We're just going to put you in the job of three people. But we don't expect all that from you. I'm just like, oh, I know that's bad me. I expect it of myself, right? I expect to be able to do my job efficiently and be given the tools to do that. I don't know, it's insane. Anyway, so the Overland Express, yeah, I drank a lot. They had a big fish tank that I used to clean. It was huge, like, and it had Oscars that were this big. And I literally would have to get up on top of like the Keno machines and get in it up to my shoulders to clean it. At the time, I actually had a fish tank cleaning business too, because I've always worked more than one job. I've never just worked one job. Well, sometimes, but rarely have I worked one job. There have been times, like when I was in Alaska, right? Was getting paid good money, didn't have to work more than one job, but rarely in my lifetime have I just worked a job. I've had a job and cleaning jobs, or a job plus another job. There's always been some kind of a side gig, right? But so I was cleaning aquariums at the time, and I remember I would go in there in the morning to clean the aquarium, and of course, since I knew where the Rumplemans was, I was drinking first thing in the morning, and then they let me go multiple times, like I said, and finally, just before I had my son, I was no longer working there because I got drunk on the job or something one too many times again, and so they asked me to leave. But I was sitting there at the bar drinking, and I got a phone call from a friend of mine who told me he was opening a restaurant and he wanted me to work for him. And so I jumped on that, and went to work waiting tables for him, where, of course, as soon as I walked through the door in the morning, the bartender, Andy, had a shot of tequila for me. So, yeah, I met my son's dad there, Seth, and it's funny because when I met him, this is funny, but when I met him, right, I wasn't attracted to him at all. I mean, he was younger than me, and I just really wasn't attracted to him. I just knew that he wasn't good for me. But what happened was, I gave him some money I gave him a tip, but I gave him enough for cigarettes because I always tipped out my cooks. He was a cook. And I gave him enough for cigarettes. So, of course, he too saw me as I had a house, I had a job, right? He saw me as an income. Um, And so we ended up partying together. Well, I woke up the next morning and he was at my house. And I had gotten so trashed the night before that I didn't remember what happened. So I just assumed that I had already slept with them. So I slept with them, even though I hadn't slept with him. So I should have never done that. But I was drunk and stupid because I was still drunk the next morning. I never got sober. Are you kidding? So we were together for probably 6 or 8 months before I remember distinctly, we were working at Snappy's still. No, 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 no. We weren't working at Snappy's anymore. That all fell apart. The person that I worked for, like I was drunk all the time. I wasn't good for that place or for him. And it just didn't, he couldn't run it. And I was too drunk to run it. And so that I have done my share of not being kind to people too, which again, I I can't go back and fix that, right? I can only move forward and learn from that. And I was super super deep in my alcoholism. Um but so I was working at Walmart when that all fell apart, and I was still drinking and stuff, but I remember I was being trained at Walmart and I was working the graveyard shift, or no, I was getting off at 4 o'clock in the morning and I had to walk like 3 miles home because we didn't have a car. It was really a bummer. Might have even been further than that, but we were in the kitchen one night talking about having a child, and I was like, kids are a lot of work. Are you sure you want to do this? Blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah. And so we got pregnant. I would say that day, actually, it wasn't that night. When we got pregnant, he actually forced himself on me that time. um, but we got pregnant. And I forgot about that. Yep, need a minute. So anyway, we got pregnant, and I quit drinking. Although the day I found out I was pregnant, I drove to every bar in town and took a pregnancy test at every bar in town that told me I was positive, and I had a drink at every bar in town before it. And then the next day, my mom and I went to Planned Parenthood, and they told me, yes, indeed, I was pregnant. So I did quit drinking, and I smoked a cigarette a day. I quit smoking pretty close to as much as I could. Seth still smoked in the house and around me and stuff like that, but I did not buy cigarettes. And I would take drugs of his and stuff like that. But I was working 2 jobs and he wasn't working at all. When I was pregnant, though, I was still working at Walmart. I got pissed at the way I was being treated, so I quit that job. Um, then I started working at Mountain Mud as a barista, and I was working at a place called the Balloon Boutique. I was working both of those jobs when I was pregnant, and I would have to walk. I think the Balloon Boutique, it probably was a mile and a half each way. So I had to walk to the Balloon Boutique in the morning, and then I had to walk I had to walk past my house back the other way to my second job, and then, which was probably about a mile and a half or 2 miles. And remember it being winter, and I was walking a lot when I was pregnant because we didn't have a car, right? And Seth wasn't working. He always found a reason not to have a job. So I was pregnant walking back and forth to 2 jobs. Yeah, my blood pressure got really high, so I had to quit working just about a week before I had my son. And by then, I think Seth had a job working for a construction company. And it's funny because actually, who he was working for was a guy that I used to party with before I had met Seth. So I partied with him when I was sober. So he gave Seth a job. So Seth was actually working at that time, finally. Oh, no, no, no. He was working at Perkins cooking. That's right. That's right, because he cheated on me with someone there when Rylan was 3 months old. He went out and started using meth with the person there, and he cheated on me with her. He was out like And I was working at Mountain Mud and cleaning fish tanks and taking my son to work with me, right? Because oh yeah, I remember now. And then one night Seth stayed gone for like 3 days. And he came home and I said, if you're going to keep doing that, you're going to have to go. And he did. He moved out that day. He moved out and left me with a 3-month-old child. It was at the beginning of the month. All the bills were due. There was $75 in the bank. Yeah. And then I started cleaning fish tanks. That's right, because I had worked at the pet store. Somewhere along there, I worked at the pet store. They, the women that owned that, I can't remember what her name was either, but she was really good at making you work like 10 9-hour days, but working it in shifts, in like split into pay periods so that she never had to pay you overtime. Her name was Annette. I think she was really good at figuring that out. But what that's right. Some of the women at the pet store I had still been friendly with, and so Dana, who owned the pet store at that point, she had just taken over ownership of the pet store, gave me all of her aquarium cleaning jobs, and that was how I paid the rent that month. Was she? So there have been people there for me. So when I say by myself, I let me rephrase that because clearly I wasn't alone there because she helped me, right? So, and thank God, because, but yeah, it was crazy. But once Seth left, I started drinking again, and I again got really heavy into my alcoholism. I would take, like, I would, I was drunk all the time. Like, I had to quit nursing Rylan because I went out and drank and nursed him, and he slept for like a day. I felt really bad about that. So I quit nursing him because I was drinking again and I started smoking again. Um, I think within pretty quick order, I started working back at the Overland Express again. And, you know, finding, I was working days though. So I was working the lunch shift Monday through Friday. I think it was 10 to 4, the 10 to 4 shift. I would go in and get everything to open and I would work until 4 o'clock and then 4 or 5. And then the 4 or 5 o'clock, like the night bartenders would come in. So, but I was drinking like a fish, right? Like always up until Rylan was 7, until I got sober. I did get sober, oh my God, because I got in an accident when I was like in my meth days. I ran into a telephone pole. I have a big dent in my head. And so it's kind of crazy because I came to, and I remember I felt a color. The color was black. I felt blackness. And I got out and I tried to roll my truck back over and I couldn't get it to move. So I got up and started, and I was between Davis and Dixon, and there's like a 16-mile stretch between those two towns. Well, on this one back road, there's like a line of like 5 houses and then nothing for miles. Well, I was at that last house walking towards Dixon. So I was like 12 miles from my home at that point, right? Or not Dixon, Winters. It was Winters, California. But I was at the last house, and this lady had come out to get her morning paper and saw me walking, and I was bleeding from a head wound, so I was just gushing blood. So she took me into her house and called. I kept telling her I needed to get to work, so she called my boss and then called an ambulance. And I ended up in the hospital with 2 fractured vertebrae in my neck, and that was drunk because I had gotten drunk and parked outside of the bartender's house waiting for him to come home, passed out, woke up. I mean, it was just stupid. I was always in search of someone to love me and in the wrong places, right? It never, when in reality, all I really needed was to love myself, right? Finally, I'm 57. Oh my gosh. I guess better late than never, right? I mean, I look at some of the people that I just was working with, and I don't think they'll ever move past sitting in a chair and stuffing their fillings. And that makes me sad. I want everybody to dance wherever they want to, right? I want everybody to feel that free and to love themselves that much. Oh well. All right, I need to go. I got stuff to do and it's noon. So, blessings, beautiful soul. Peace out. Thanks for joining me on this crazy ass journey of life, self love, acceptance. I love myself. I finally love myself. I even love crazy freaking little Elle, man. I wish she would stay put away sometimes, but she doesn't. She's a part of me. So if she comes out and gets mad and says shit, oh well, whatever. I shouldn't be pushed to that. People shouldn't push other people to that. You know, my son said that, people videotape these Karens and stuff. There are some Karens. There are people that are truly just mean and want to push you just because that's how they get off. But even those are, it's a sickness, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna go. Bye. Thanks for joining me. Peace out, beautiful soul. I don't know. I'll find it somewhere in there.